Carol, Kevin, it's 2 weeks to the day since you took over. I bet it feels
hour.
to the hour. I bet it feels like a lifetime ago that you completed it.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to say to me how long was it, it would months really.
Yeah.
It's been a really exciting first 2 weeks. Very pleased to have got John and Dave sorted. That's a big relief because I can understand the fans being frustrated that they don't know, and it's hard from, as I said last week, they're our employees and we have a duty of care to them, and so that means that you can't announce things prematurely, and you've got to let things go through their due process. And I think Kevin's been as impatient as any fan out there.
No, I'm not very patient by nature, sadly. And I'm having to learn it here a bit. But that's a big step, because all the information I've got from mates and other people in the industry said that the most important thing you do is appoint the manager. And we've done that, haven't we?
Yeah.
Good old Colin.
It's safe to say that things that have been going at 100 miles an hour, and a lot of things have been completed in those 2 weeks, and it's a credit to yourselves and Colin Garlick, the way that you've got the team together and you've been completing stuff around the ground. But as you said there, Kevin, getting the manager sorted, even though it's been in the pipeline for a while, it's to now get that confirmed and announced, it must be a massive weight off your shoulders.
They're never done until they're done, are they? Good. I mean, you don't know who's going to try and mess things up or whatever reason. But no, so we're obviously utterly delighted to have done that. Colin's starting to relax, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's got an unbelievable sense of humour, but I just don't think it's been to the fore, hasn't he? You look at him and he looks really serious, but he's been good with the management guys coming in and things, so I think they're going to be really good together, don't you?
Oh yeah, I mean, I was said I don't think that we could have taken over the club without Colin, because the amount of information that he's got, the way the experience that he's got. So I'll come in and I'll go, I've had this amazing idea, and I'll pour it all out, and then he'll go, yeah, okay, and then he'll give me the 6 reasons why it won't work, and then the 2 things that we have to do to make it work, and then we move on. It's been an absolute joy, and he's done all of the work in sorting out the contract with John and with Dave.
And Colin and John are quite close as well, and it must be nice to know that your chief executive really knows John Askey inside out and can give you strong advice on him.
Yeah, that's really good. And one of the things with Port Vale is the longevity of it. And we talked on last Tuesday about the multi-generational part. And Colin's mum and dad come to the matches, and and so I know he's got to impress them. So that's really important. But Colin Askey played for us, and so there's a real Port Vale connection going on, and he's from the area, and I really wanted somebody from the area.
Yeah, I think the thing that's come to me is that people always talk about the history of football clubs, but it just can't be like that in Chelsea, because this is the area. These are the people, the number of people who say, oh, I remember my granddad bringing me, 1847 or something. They've been really, and it's come through to me even more strongly as to how much it all matters. And you really don't want to be messing with this football club. You want to be polishing it and make it as shiny as possible, because there's thousands of people out there. I mean, you probably gathered that we were so delighted when we got 1,000, season tickets sold. Was on the way to Wembley, wasn't it? And
Not a bad place to find out that you're hitting 1,000 sales as well, is
On our way
it?
to Wembley.
No.
We weren't moved.
I was bouncing around the table there, letting people know. Don't you worry.
But just talking about John there as well, he's shown his passion for the club, and he's always, been quite vocal about that. He wants to stay at the club, and we mentioned to him earlier that when there's a change in ownership at other clubs, sometimes the manager suffers as a result of that. But you've stuck by him. What is it about John that you've really liked in terms of the football side of things?
I think the football has been far more entertaining than it was the first half. I remember bringing my son to a match in about October or something, and it was really dire. It really was. And then he came to the next match after John was here, and he couldn't believe it. The change.
And he knows football.
And he knows football well. And I use Dave Worrell as my example. Whereas the first half, you wouldn't have given him a second glance.
I couldn't even understand why he was here.
Yeah. Whereas the second half,
Wow.
it was amazing.
He was running around like a loony, wasn't he? It was fantastic.
I think that's a credit to John and Dave, Kevin, as well, the new attitude they've installed in the team.
Yeah.
With the summer ahead for them now, it's a really big summer for yourselves and for John, but there's expectations that need to be kept at a certain level. Perspective needs to be looked at as well, doesn't it?
I mean, I think people have to keep in mind that the biggest thing that has happened is that we didn't go down the plug hole.
Well, two ways. I mean, A, we were relegated, and two, we didn't go into administration.
Yeah.
So there was a
things.
dual prong attack
Yeah.
against Port Vale.
So
until 2 weeks ago.
Just so people understand, that's the level we're starting from. So it's God, I hope the only way is up. You know what I mean?
And there's no harm in dreaming of the likes of promotion, but I think there's a reality check that's been installed now, is that that it's a building process, and you're not going to jump from a relegation candidate to champions in one season, but you never know in football, do you?
In life, it's about where you aim. I mean, underneath we're probably realistic, but if you aim in the middle, you'll probably end up at the bottom. If you aim high, you might just end up in the middle. And that's our next step, really, isn't it, hopefully?
Well, you go out to every match to win it.
Of course you do.
You go into every season to be promoted. And I think that would be silly not to. However, there's a big happening in football at the moment, and you look at so many clubs where they have gambled the future of the club for accelerated success. That isn't what we're going to do. And as I said before, Andy Holt from Accrington put a tweet on this morning, and he talked about being ambitious, but also balancing that with keeping the club sustainable and safe,
yeah, absolutely.
and stable.
We don't want to go and risk the club.
No.
I'd rather take it step by step, and have there's no point in going through what we've gone through and then blowing the whole thing up.
Yeah.
No, we don't want to do that.
If you go and ask the fans of some of the clubs where they've overspent, and said,
Well, go and talk to Bolton,
well, go and talk to Bolton, go and talk to Notts County, and ask their fans, would they have preferred to have taken it a bit steadier? So, people are going to look at our budget and then just see it as a number, whereas we're seeing it as an investment, and, we're already talking to John of how we punch above our weight, and so how the whole club comes together. And so it isn't in isolation like it has been. It's been a big cut-off, the team to the rest of the club, whereas that's now going to be integrated.
John comes across to me as a very sort of considered chap. He's not...
He's not a fly-by-night.
No, he hasn't gone, woo, let's go and do that. So he hasn't said, give me £7 million or something, has he?
I think he'd take it if you offered it.
I'm sure he would, but I think he's a realistic and steady bloke. Yeah,
Definitely. And now that you've got your manager announced, you've got the first 2 weeks of your ownership here at Port Vale out of the way. I don't want to overexcite you, but thoughts on the first day of the season? You're looking forward to that one?
Yes, I am, and the work we're doing now is very much the compliance work. So to make sure that for the first match of the season, everything's in place for that, but also the match day experience. So I've had meetings in the last week about how do we make sure that no matter where you sit in Vale Park, that you have a good afternoon out or a good evening out. How do we make the executive hospitality tip top? So I've been taking notes, of experiences where we've been to other clubs, and now John's going to put the team together. It's beginning to look real, and I've spoken to a couple of players in the last week, and they're really excited and itching to come back and get started. It is an exciting place to be, Vale Park.
That's the nitty-gritty bit out of the way, but as a fan,
Yeah.
how are you going to feel knowing that stepping out on the first day of the season, you're the Port Vale co-chairs and you're kick-starting your season?
Well,
No,
you
no.
don't, because when you go out there, you're a fan.
Yeah.
You know.
I mean, if I'm honest, all this stuff is fantasy stuff, and I'm going to wake up in a minute, so it doesn't really matter.
It's going to be a proud moment for the pair of you, though, isn't
Oh,
it?
just huge.
Yeah, but we keep saying this, don't we? You know, we drive in and it doesn't feel like it's ours. It hasn't made any difference in that way because we're doing it as part of a
Job of work,
a
isn't
job
it?
of work and doing it with the fans.
Yeah.
This isn't a
And I mean, it started. I mean, it's been time when the fans aren't here really, but all the backroom people are, and just going round to them has been a very uplifting experience for me. Anyway, you know, the people in the shop and all that sort of thing. Yeah, and the guys doing the girls doing the accounts and all that. They're just such positive people. How they've survived it all, I've got no idea. But so.
and you
Part
got
of Carol's job is to support them now, you see.
and you managed to get your staff discount at the shop.
I did, yes.
Well, that's the main thing, isn't it, Kevin?
Absolutely.
You-
On my mug.
Yeah, we went in and saw a mug with Kevin on it. So
I saw it from across the room. It must have been about 50 yards. I thought, wow, must be mint, mustn't it?